Hey everybody, what it do? I'm mmatoad. Last week, UFC 324, we absolutely killed it. 9 for 11 on picks. We did 5 units. Had we had the Gaethje knockout, could have been closer to 10. Parlay carried over from the previous 6 weeks. That cashes. And yeah, we had the Gaethje knockdown. So it was a overall really nice card for the year to kick things off, and I'm really excited for UFC 325. Obviously, you got a lot of fan favorites at the top of the card. Bottom of the card, I hope you got a favorite coin. Flip it a few times, go between your picks. Not really interested in the road to UFC being kind of merged within this card, but I get it. Um, if something ever became something of some of these fighters, that I guess would be a cool fight card to look back on with other, you know, legends like Volkanovski in all respects. So he's proven himself. He's the best featherweight of all time. Have been some great other, contenders, but Volk has either beaten them or they didn't prove it nearly as much as he has, right? They jump weight classes. It's a really tough weight division to hold down because some of these dudes are big. Diego Lopes is literally a loaded gun. And the statistic was that Volk wasn't going to win his last fight based on all the other greats. And that's what truly makes him the great Volkanovski. He was the first champion to come back, retain that title over the age of 35. And he did so great. It was a great war. There were moments in the fight because of, I guess, how technical and how good it was in the boxing exchanges. It really did start to die down, and Diego definitely loses steam after round, 3 from what we've ever seen, even going into round 3 in these other 15-minute contestants, right? So I think he's had a lot of time to level up, learn, grow. Folks had the privilege of doing this against, again, some of the greatest to ever grace 145 pounds in the UFC, and are doing some of the greatest things at 155 pounds. One went his way, the other one didn't, but at least it was proven over 3 fights, despite getting one of those, kind of given to him. So, this is going to be another beautiful car crash. I do see the fight playing out differently. I think Diego's going to mix it and actually show more complete fighter capabilities. I think we're going to have some beautiful scrambles, some moments. I'd love another Ortega moment for Volk to be in a crazy submission and break out of it. I'd love that Mobzar moment for Diego. But then the big surprise happens, and that's seeing Volk tap. We've seen him in these really deep waters. So I that would be kind of like a spectacular torch handing over moment. That's the only really huge thing that I personally do like for Diego, other than just fighting for a title and being a champ one day, is that if he lost this fight out of 2, there could have been nobody better at this weight class to have handed you that torch other than, Ilya also and Max. I think those 3, at least as far as active, right? Volk is the most proven. He's the most fighter. You know what I mean? He's one of the most complete fucking just dogs, pound for pound, in UFC history. And so I'm kind of happy either way this one goes. Love the boys to death. I truly am 50-50, just like I was last week, in that sense where I'm happy either guy becoming a champ, but Petty will have another chance. Diego, this is his second chance, right? You don't often get a third, so I could see Diego maybe even moving up in weight eventually. I don't know. It's tough. There are some good guys that he would fight. I think this builds up perfectly for the Mobzar fight if Volk was done at 145, and but even then, it's like they'd be 1-1 at that point. They would have their own trilogy, which would just be fucking insane if Volk came back and won that trilogy the way he won Holloway's. It's just, this dude is a dog. He's been around here for a minute, and he didn't start this weight class, man. He's had a hell of a road, a hell of a journey. Malarkey on the card. We'll get into that fight. without further ado, look at that fucking albino brows on that man. I don't know how he's still around too, man. Some of these guys have been here for a minute. We'll see. All right, you guys ready to do this shit? We got UFC 325 back-to-back weeks, going from 324 into this one. Kind of feels deserved in a way because of the weight. Not really in love with a good half of the card, but otherwise, hey, who's the bitch? We got fucking spectacular fights at the top of the card that are contenders for fight of the year, and that standard was set pretty fucking high a week ago. So, gotta keep these fights and matchmaking kind of setups here coming. I like all three of these fights here at the top of the card. Fourth card, absolutely love that too. Ty's got to make a return. They're going to put him up against a guy that's just as easily going to put him out as the last few. He's had nothing but tough goes, but that's part of being one of the previous guys to be part of that top 5 title contention, right? The fact he's holding it down at 12, where he's been in terms of losses and inactivity, be happy to be part of top 15. And so even this loss here with Taliesin may not drop him out of that 15 rankings, but man, between having to make the drastic cut, wearing the sweatsuits, all the vlogs, you see him still cutting weight, man. Like, he's having to really fucking still make a go at doing this thing. Also, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't watched it already, we got me and Pro Schmo giving safety parlay of the week. He's got a really nice line. Why make a 2 or 3 leg parlay when you can just take plus 400 prop? And then he also threw out the plus 600 hooker by finish. So give my boy Henry, Pro Schmo Bet, some love. Follow that community over there. But he knows ball. I love talking fight picks and matchmaking and, even just the predictions, the way that we love to methodically unravel that fight in our minds of how this could happen, but that could happen too. Having both conversations is actually just nice to do with somebody. I like the authenticity, I don't know, man, Sharp. I've looked up to him prior to even making Toad. I ran across his channel while I just started doing on IG, like, MMA content, because I'd done it through other social platforms and just privately. With most of it was private. And so IG was just like, yeah, let's give this shit a shot. Pro came through. Yeah, he's just good about finding movements that aren't being discussed about. But I mean, he's a pro. He's not gonna chirp it. You know what I mean? These are conversations that he'll have with the close ones, and that's the way to be. I mean, man, takes care of himself and others. He's a leader in this game. So give that man my full devoted respect and devotion over there. Some love. Drop him his subscribe, follow, and find a video of his and drop a comment. Let him know what you think as well. But I'm a fan. So cool that we're doing our locks, our safety shit. We're going to keep smacking those. We're going to keep tuning them down, make them nice and simple for the socials. But this is where I get to be methodical and tell a story on how I think some of these fights unfold. Because of the card, you're really only going to see that mostly on, the main card, but there are a few on the prelims that I guess I have an opinion of how they're going to be. So yeah, without further ado, UFC 325. Again, we came from 9-11 on our picks. Pretty good on the bet side of things. Gaethje plus 150 on the knockdown last week was a fun one. Money line. But yeah, let's do it. All right, so pick out your favorite fucking coin. Shine that puppy up. What we got? Heads, you got Aaron. Tails, you got fucking the Mazzari. Sorry, don't give a fuck. I know it's a nice road journey thing. That's great. I'm sure for the region, it's cool. Didn't watch it, didn't give a fuck. So take out your favorite coin. Who you got? That's kind of some of these fights for me, honestly. Not super interested, didn't really follow. I'm sure it was cool from a local scene, but yes, kicking things off on the early prelim. It was like 5 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday. All these fucking Australian shits that say it's Sunday, they're wrong. You know, unless you're in Australia. So, anyways, got Aaron 2, Ta, however the fuck you want to say his name. I tried all the ways that I would guess. Versus Namsri Badabara. Okay? If you guys didn't know who the fuck they were, you do now. So, this Namsri guy's actually not even that bad from what I've been seeing. His props also negative 126. So, he's probably one of the best props on a slight favorite on the card. To me, both guys have a lot to prove in this fight to one another. Not really a lot to go off, though, right? Like, if I was to give a prospect that is probably going to make it more in this fight, the Aaron dude just seems to kind of go guns fucking a-blazing. And then I was reading he has cardio issues. Okay. If he gets it done in the first 2 rounds, that's how you do it. So if you're betting Aaron, probably bet him rounds 1 and 2. I think Namsri takes this fight. I don't know exactly how, but I could see him just being a more complete fighter for more than just 10 minutes. So give me Namsri, pick number 1. All right. Sulin Garembo taking on Lawrence Lau. I think Garembo's not bad. I think he's another one of these guys that I think the prop's pretty fair at, honestly, right now. Negative 260. That is a moderate favorite. But we also just came from a slight. That could be a good, 2 back-to-back leg. Something fun early. But I don't know. I don't have any cheddar on this one. I don't like the moderate picks at this level. You're better off betting on the dog again. Both guys got a lot to prove. But yeah, it's gonna be a sweet ass fight, and yeah, there's gonna be some kung fu shit. So it's gonna be sweet. All right, moving up the card, we got Nakamura taking on Sebastian. Again, 2-0, lot to prove. We got a fellow Australian, right? These Japanese dudes are showing up though. They got good wrestling base, good striking, get a little crazy. So yeah, I like Nakamura here as the pick, pulling the upset. I don't know the props on this one. They're actually funny enough down, but I'm not looking to bet on this one. Nakamura. All right, moving up the card. All right, we got Sang-Woo Kim taking on Damar Fan. Again, I got Dom. I think he's okay. Oh, wait. I take that back. I got Frogman, dude. I'm not cheating on my boy. Dude, if you guys didn't know this guy right here, Sang-Woo Frogman. Yep. So we'll see. We will see. Dude, what's Frogman underdog? He's a slight favorite. Oh no, he is a dog. Nice. Plus 122. I'll put the smallest something on it just for the slip if it hits. Say hell yeah, Frogman. All right, moving up the card again. How many fucks do you give about those fights? So technically, this would be the beginning of a UFC card. All right, kicking things off, we got hopefully taking on Yiza. Wasn't super in love with this fight either. Moving up the card, the prelims. I think this one goes to the decision. I'd say these fights moving up in the earliest prelims are going to be half finishes, half decisions as well. Definitely some finishes up to this point. Probably both submission and knockouts, to be fair. But yeah, I think this one goes to the judges. Give me Yiza. I think he's just more, I don't know, a little bit more well-rounded than this. Definitely going to have more 15 minutes. Doesn't have that fade. Typically is in control of the fights. I like the pick. I'm not impressed with Oakley. All right, bigger fights from here a little bit more. So I think this is a really big early prelim fight. Yeah, Jonathan Mikov taking on Oban Elliott. Jonathan's good. Snappy, rangy. He does start to fade, right? Cardio. But in the first 10 minutes, he's live, dude. Fucking MMA Jesus, he disappeared and he appeared in the UFC, dude. He's out here fucking buff now. Not betting on fighters. He is the fighter, dude. He's out here fucking smacking them with them fucking hands of God and them rangy ass kicks. Elliott didn't plug in his controller last fight, so half his buttons didn't even fucking work. If you do that against this Jonathan dude, he's going to be the right hand of God. He's going to get his finish. So I like the snappiness. I like the offensiveness. But if we're getting into some, grappling exchanges and things, he can grapple too. He's got that base. But I would say Elliott's probably pretty live there as well. I think he's got to be close to Jonathan. I think he's got to be trying to wear and tire Jonathan down. Because as long as he's got gas and sitting at range, doing what he likes to do, fucks dudes up. So based on the mellowness of Elliott in the last fight and just that killer mentality in Jonathan in his first, or his last fight, last few fights, we should all say, yeah, give me John. I think he gets it done. All right, moving up the card, we got our fellow Mud Hut warrior, Terrence Finney. I almost said McKinney. Terrence McKinney, no, Torres Finney. My boy's, he's the fifth Ninja Turtle they never found. I'll let him pick out what color it is. I don't want to speak for him, but he found his way to the Mud Hut. He's been chilling. We're supporting you, man. The wrestling's there. He's tough. Cardio is impressive to do what he can for a good 10 minutes. There's that natural fade, fatigue. Also, other fighters make reads, adapt, and, they adapt too. Coaches have 2 rounds, 3 rounds to try to talk about what we can do different. Things might change up in the fight. So he does a good job of keeping that vice. He keeps the control time and he gets it done. It's not entertaining. I get it. I think once he starts incorporating those like elbows and the ground and pound and can be a fucking dog on the ground, I think he's going to win some fans there. I just want to see Finney get that control. Like, don't use your the thing that got you to the dance. Like, use your wrestling. But how could we advance that wrestling into, inflicting damage or maybe even some better submission attempts? So Jacob, he's got a okay wrestling base too. He should have a good chance of shoving off some of these and not letting Finney be as much of a vice in this fight. But if I was to take one over the other in that department, I'm still taking Finney. So Jacob's got to find a way to get dirty with striking, uppercuts, knees, things down the middle, kicks at range on the middle, something that's going to try to keep Finney kind of guessing about that level change, putting his head down. So he knows this, he trains this, and at the end of the day, he's been the one winning. So this is a decent test for him again. But I do expect Finney here as well. So give me Finney by decision. All right. Moving up on the card, we got a fucking battle draft taking on Cody Brundage. Cody, he's a dog. He'll brawl with you. He'll scrap with you. He'll fucking throw, bombs. But yeah, he's only human too. He gets hurt in fights. He can get dropped too. But man, can he bite down and throw? And I think he's really got I don't know. It's such an interesting fight, the way he likes to fight and the way that Cam can be defensively too with his clinch striking, those knees. And obviously at range, sure. But assuming that Cody can at least make the entrance, what does that look like up the middle? You know, are we going to see Cody maybe go for a quick takedown and try to control the fight with some ground and pound and just feed shots around the side? I could see Cam getting taken down by Brundage in a blitz, but with Cody throwing bombs and hurting him and having him down, you know, I could see him transitioning, taking some kind of like sweep or you know, some kind of trip. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and in this fight take... I've switched a few times. Brundage because he's just more proven, way higher level guys, but Cam because he's certainly the recipe that causes the same kind of violence that Brundage gets devoured in sometimes his own chaos. So I like this fight to end by a finish. Absolutely this fight to end by a finish as one of my parlay pieces, but there's really no value in it unless you're willing to shave off round 3. So fight to finish by rounds 1 and 2. I got it at negative 300. Not bad. All right, so Cam is going to be my pick here. I'm going to take Battle Giraffe. He is, you know, got a little bit of home field advantage here, but I just think that he's dangerous enough where Cody is susceptible enough that I think he catches Cody and pulls an upset. Is Cody the underdog here or what? Let's take a quick look. Cam is actually a 3.5 to 1 favorite, dude. Nearly a 4 to 1 favorite. This is fucking disrespectful. So from a betting standpoint, again, we got the distance, no. But if I go to method of victory, knockout, Brundage as the dog, right? He's the dog in this shit. Plus 500. His submissions plus 1,000. I wouldn't expect it. And his points plus 14. And yeah, all those props are pretty crazy. That might be something to play with for sure if you're thinking Brundage. And try to nail the fucking method because it's not bad. Otherwise, he's a plus 260 money line. Enjoy that. I'd probably take that over the knockout prop. And then maybe sprinkle on a submission. That'd be fucking crazy. Plus 1,000. So that's 10 to 1 props. If this fight happened 10 times, could Brundage choke him once in one of these sequences? Again, I don't want to see him at range striking, and I don't think he wants it either. So we should get some tussles, some good scrambles. We'll see. Yeah, give me Cam as my pick and Brundage for opportunity. Otherwise, fight's not going to the judges. Not a bad option there. All right. I don't know how this guy keeps fucking getting through security, but he finds his way into the locker rooms. He steals somebody's fucking bag. And yeah, man, he fucking tapes up and goes to war for a good 5 minutes and is always looking at the ref. And all these sequences, like when he's getting shot on, when he's getting punched, and he's like trying to protest getting finished, it's always just, it's not Tafa versus opponent. They make quick work of him. It's always Tafa and the ref at the end. So I expect this one to be kind of like that too, where Tafa takes his first chance out with a shot to the stomach that he's protesting was his, you know, his junk, and he's just sitting there trying to gain him fucking self like another 3 minutes worth of breath to survive because it's only been 2 minutes into the fight. So Tafa, I think he absolutely should go to the lowest level possible of who you have lined up at prelim level as a into UFC gatekeeper, right? Like all the little shit dogs at the bottom of the card. He'd be the guy that you'd want them to fight. Here's your first UFC guy. Beat him. That's it. Like, I'm sorry. Otherwise, I just feel like there's probably better talent, right? There's got to be. All right. So anyways, would Tafa be in the UFC without his brother, Justin? That's always one of those things. So give me Billy by a finish. submission or knockout. Tafa doesn't know how to see the second round to save his fucking life. He's a quitter. All right, moving up on the card, we got Selkill taking on Jamie Malarkey. Malarkey is just one of those guys I'm surprised to kind of see him still in it too. He's taken his beatings. He's had his highs and his lows. He certainly bites down and fights every time. But dude, anytime these guys are surging and they're getting finishes and they fight Malarkey, I find Malarkey's just getting fucking healed over, right? More times than not, at least. So I think Selkill's the pick. There's yeah, we'll see what weigh-ins look like. Make sure both guys are healthy, and we'll go from there. But yeah, give me Selkill as a pick. Malarkey is like a 6-1 underdog. That is dead to rights. He should be in a duffel bag. And at the end of the day, what was this? The coin flip. It's still a 50-50 fight, right? Everyone's got to come in. Everyone's got to make the way. Everyone's got to be healthy. And then they got to fight. So if you're giving me 6-1 prop, and these guys fought at least 5 times, would Quinlan be the one to knock them all 5 and just win that easily? What if he got caught? Or maybe he was hurt, etc., right? I don't know. I don't mind those props sometimes when they're so fucking ridiculous. Sure. But as always, we focus distance a lot. And so this is another one of those fights. I don't expect it to go into the 3rd round. I do expect to finish in the first 2. Or you could bet fight to end by knockout. I think it's rather fucking good. And that respects both sides too. So this one ain't going to the judges. I can assure you that. We'll keep things rolling with another fight like that as well. Tai Tui fucking Sweatsuit Vasa taking on Taliesin Teixeira. Now listen, I absolutely fucking used to love watching Tai Tuivasa pay-per-views, his big comeback moment. I had him as my pick against Lewis. Lewis was having his way. Hit guys the same way he hits them always, if not even harder, bigger shots. Somehow this man survived it and landed one of the most beautiful elbow knockouts, especially at heavyweight, heavyweight level. On the feet. Just boom, tombstone knockout. So Tai Tuivasa hitting the shoey, having that big moment against another legendary heavyweight with most knockouts. It's bittersweet looking at it now, the way his trajectory has been since. And we know he can get hurt to the body. Cyril Gane did fucking wonders with some of these kicks. And Teixeira is very long and rangy. And we all know what happens, right? This is another... Can Tai Tuivasa cut the right angles, take the least amount of shots absorbed? The blocks are going to be fucking you up. You know what I mean? This is a sniper. But can you cut him off and just fucking throw in Taliesin back to the cage? Tai Tuivasa catches Taliesin in the corner of the octagon, and they both are swinging from there. He can fucking eat shit, son. He absolutely can fucking eat shit. But I think the transitions and the devotion and the time away, life's changed a lot since, too, that old dog I was talking about in the octagon with Lewis. Both good and bad, right? But from what we see these days, our boy's taken care of. No more goofy-ass dominoes bullshit. Sincerely wish the guy best in life. Big Shuey fan. Would be what I want to happen, right? And I'm sure many of you too. We want that Shuey. We want Tuivasa to save this because he absolutely needs this win. He could get pushed out of the top 15 ranked real quick if he doesn't. So Teixeira, pretty decent guy, pretty nasty sniper. His props on this are crazy. In terms of being a favorite for finish, etc. Tai Tuivasa's, the props are actually down as we speak, but man, I'd imagine Tuivasa is going to open as the plus 250. which in a heavyweight bout, that's money, man. I mean, it's a coin flip fight. So if you get 250 prop, I think that's okay at the bare minimum. But that's money line. Let's open that up further. If we're at 250 prop, I could expect a knockout at 350. We take that too. So give me Teixeira. I think he's a sniper. I think he's too dangerous. He's not just throwing hands. He's working nasty angles. He's got those kicks, his knees. He knows his tool set. And he's part of a more disciplined and more technical, skill set group. And Tuivasa is focusing on one half of being a fighter right now. And we're not really sharpening those tools as much. We're focused into the cut, the sweatsuits, the drain, the fatigue. So I'll take the guy who's not locally acclimated versus the guy who's struggling to do that other piece of the commitment here. So love Tai Tuivasa. Love to be wrong. Telson's the pick. And as soon as the props, yeah, Tuivasa's a plus 260 dog. And method, Tai Tuivasa's a plus 350 knockout. I mean, I literally just fucking said all this shit. Am I working for you guys, FanDuel? All right. So it's plus 350 Tai Tuivasa by knockout. So we do put a little something on that, right? We definitely put a little something on that, but not too crazy. Yeah, perfect. And then Teixeira we take by knockout also. It's way better than the distance props this week because it's like -1,000. So I bet both sides on this and we cash out either way. So yeah. Not a bad one there. Pretty happy with that. So Teixeira by knockout is -170. I think that's a good leg one, right? And we got Hooker's the long shot. Don't get over invested in just that fight, right? Look at the distance on this. Again, we talked safer. -230. Now we're at a plus 126 prop. Teixeira by knockout and Hooker BSD distance no. Right? Yeah. Plus 126. -122 with Diego and Volk. It's a risky one. I will admit it. But man, would it be nice. And it has a lot of opportunity. Let's order 5 rounds. Sure. We're at plus 311. But yeah. Let's dink 'em and sink 'em. I think we're due for a shoey. Teixeira said he'll do one too, so we should get one regardless. This is a dink 'em and sink 'em. Oh shit, I'd be surprised we get out of round 1. All right, moving up the card. Pupil versus his fucking sensei, dude. This is the Tiger Muay Thai striking coach versus one of his grasshoppers. Fiziev, he's come off some pretty rough injuries, right? That knee. Rufy's the kind of technical striker, big, whereas the Fiziev is definitely smaller for the weight class, but he's rangy and he works very fluently, very precisely, and it is going to be a beautiful game of chess, but technically Rufy should be having some moments due to that ability at range. If we're getting into the trade-offs and the gunfights, I like Rafael Fiziev all fucking day. It takes a special shot, something like what Gaethje hit him with that uppercut, but even then he survived the storm to decisions, you know what I mean? So Fiziev can definitely stand and bang. If he was to sit there and trade on Rufy, I kind of like him top shelf. Rufy's going to be great at range with some kicks and things, but when they're letting hands go, I got Rafael all day knocking his ass. Plus, Rafael's also a plus, underdog, right? So there's some value this week with Fiziev. But Rufi's been, a high favorite on a lot of cards, whereas to now, with that loss, it's a little bit more humbling on the prop side. So I can see a case for either either or. Yeah, it's tough. Part of me had Fiziev, went away, come back. I look at the weigh-ins, and I just think that Rufi doesn't have that post-injury. He's got the range, the physicality. I think he edges out a decision, but Rafael Fiziev could also edge out a decision. So I'll take Rafael as the plus dog on a bet going into the fight. Maybe the tide shift, and depending the prop, Rufi goes plus money into a second, third round, in which I could guarantee money being made on either side. So pay attention to live props. This really is a back and forth fight here. So I respect your opinion regardless of who and how. All right, moving up. Co-main event. Your Australian BMF fight. Dan the Hangman Hooker taking on Benoit, the God of War, Saint Denis. Now, both of these fucking dudes are about it. The presser just, was just that extra touch, that extra flavor that we want. Like, Hooker's egging it on. BSD, very confident what he's going to do and what he's capable of. You always look at these photos of the pre-octagon, like stat photos ESPN was showing at BSD. He always had the ugliest junkyard dog looking fucking face. He's even doing it there. If I really want to fucking zoom on this shit. Look at this fucking Popeye the Sailor Man goddamn face. He's about it. He knows he's about it. He loves the fucking chaos. Dustin did a good job of making him look more human than what he actually is, because he's a badass in his own regard. He's got really good pressure. He's got really good grappling. And I like him a lot on the ground. But so as long as we're talking about where the fight starts on the feet, Hooker's not immune to a blitz, but man, he survives and deals back so much more because of his range, because of his technicality, his elbows, his knees. He fucking cracks, and he gets cracked too. So I've seen BSD get cracked and just fucking submit with Dustin. Hooker had one of the loudest Apex brawls that I think the pandemic witnessed. Blow for blow, crack for crack. That was one of the best drag 'em out fights all pandemic, Hooker and Dustin. So always a fan of his, always will be a fan of his. Love the fucking Hangman. It'd actually be bittersweet if him, Volk, Tuivasa, all these guys can sneak away with their wins, or show up and deliver the wins that we're hoping that they do, because it would be cool to see them all on that Nimbus. But BSD, I understand the pick. I understand it's within the distance. Hooker, I understand the pick. More than likely, it's within the distance. Let's just say distance, no, negative 230. Go ahead, make that a parlay leg and go ahead and hammer it. That is going to hit. These men are going to present some fucking problems. And though I give credit to Hooker's durability, that's when someone's just doing nothing but mere striking. BSD has way better grappling than a lot of the guys that Hooker would stand and brawl with. And I think just eventually you're acceptable to a shot, or your positioning is in such a way, you put your head out. And, the fight transitions. And so as long as we're on the ground, Hooker, if he's not the one cinching up BSD's head in some front, like ninja, Doris, guillotine, something, and it goes to the ground, I really do not like BSD popping all that fucking scar tissue with elbows and going for submission attempts. I kind of like Hooker there more than I do with BSD's ground and pound, to be honest with you. I think Hooker's got good enough grappling to survive, but not if he can't get up in transition. Hooker explodes, resets back to the octagon, turns the fight back, and probably doesn't go to the ground a ton in this fight. I think he puts up a good fight until BSD just hits him with like a perfect blitz sequence, because he's pretty relentless. Now, all that to say, dude, Hooker catches him with a stiff fucking counter, the way he snaps that shit, and BST's head's down instead. 90-night, all fucking day. Hooker to get a finish is plus 600 if you took it earlier in the week with Pro Schmo. And his money line was plus 400. Last I checked, it was closer to 3. So definitely it's tightened over the weekend, or going into the weekend, but it's because you got to respect Hooker as a 3 or 4 to 1 prop all fucking day in these kind of wars, right? So if you could bet on both sides and the payout was 3 to 1, I would bet my whole life on it, right? Because you win automatically unless you get a refund because it was a draw. There's no way of losing that. So anytime they give me a 3 to 1 on a guy to get a finish, or better, 6 to 1, you just got to put something on it and enjoy the fight regardless of how it goes, because I'm sure it's going to be a war. Bloody fight of the year contender. Hooker, God of War. Can't fucking wait. What a beautiful co-main. Also, not opposed to seeing the co-mains all 5 rounds. So you're kind of getting that test for 5-round experience instead of being a main event of an Apex card, a fight night card. We do it all the time for title eliminator contention fights. It's a 5-round co-main. Why not standardize having a good co-main every time and build it out over 5 rounds? Just my thought and opinion. I don't think these guys need a 3rd round. I think it gets done within 2, but still. Would love to see if it was a beautiful war and it somehow went to the judges. Imagine 10 more minutes of that chaos. You know what I mean? Be fucking nuts. Probably for their health. That's why it's not, though. Now we are here, ladies and gentlemen, your UFC 325 main event. Volkanovski, the most proven and solidified featherweight in UFC and in MMA history. You got to stay around. You got to prove it. You got to show it wasn't just a lucky fight. It wasn't just a fluke, this, and that. He represents the greatest, but unfortunately, we are getting towards the end of that journey. Volk is saying right now he has no intentions of retiring. He wants to remain active. I love all of his cooking segments. His shit just launched. I'm probably going to dabble into some of that and support the man. But love the dude. Never a boring Volkanovski fight. Always hits the gas pedal. Always comes back in the fights when he absolutely needs to. He controls that tempo, that pace. And he's a proven 25-minute Chad. Pound for pound, Volkanovski is just simply one of the greatest. Now, a lot of my UFC card collection involve this guy right here. Diego is part of that big new wave, that exciting, they're going to be very well versed in multiple disciplines. And, at the end of the day, Diego is not going to be in those same conversations as Volk will always be. And that's quite okay with me. What I love about Diego is just him as a complete person as well as a fighter. He is actually pretty chill, pretty humble until he's not. You cross him, you cross his team. Very defensive, brother-like. And it shows. He will fight out of emotion and use that loyalty as a weapon. And he himself is a physical fucking weapon in any fight he's ever been. Even when losing a fight, he'll have submission moments, knockdown moments, wobble moments with his opponents where he somehow inflicted something that could have easily have ended the fight. In most cases it does. And we see those highlights all the time. Now we've been at higher levels. We're not quite getting the finishes as much as we do. And here's a unique chance where he's actually getting to nearly back-to-back apply what he's changed, what he's improved on, what he, learned and grew from that first fight to become a better fighter. But what's scary about this, as we know, is Volkanovski is quite familiar with round 1, fight 1, fight 2, trilogies. He has had multiple goes at the same people for these improved looks. His tape study, his adjustments, his team have had him against the likes of fucking Islam Makhachev. And I thought that first fight was his damn near, I thought so in the moment. Very close looking back. I would have at least had that shit a draw. If not, I could have seen Volk slightly getting it. Dead serious. Like, I don't know why everyone thought Islam dominated that fight. He didn't do shit with his grappling. But anyways, Diego Lopes always looking for that finish. Scary as fuck in the first three. He can take it. He deals it. And he's great however and wherever this fight goes. I will say, if he wants to sit there and have another gunfight, that shit's live. His knockdown prop is plus 125, or sorry, I thought it was like plus 150 almost. His knockdown, that's not knockout, that's just knockdown. And Volk's tough, man. He normally does get knocked down or wobbled, and then he fights right back out of it, and he's back in the fight. His wrestling, he's got a good mix. But if the fight goes to the ground, I'd love to see Lopes just kind of turn it up on Volk, and much like Ortega, at the very least, and Mavzar, at the very least, we're walking away with, all right, it's round 2, round 3. But Diego had a moment on the feet that transitioned the fight. We're on the ground. Diego had like a rear naked choke setup or a triangle. More than likely, it'd be a triangle with Volk trying to hit some ground and pound on him. But I would just like to see Diego not sit there and try to box with Volkanovski, because he's truly got some of the best boxing, with Ilya, Dustin, Max, and, some of these guys, McGregor. Dude, why are you not using your first love and show where other fighters have been able to take Volk and give other looks? Open up the ground and pound the elbows, the striking, with Volk on the ground for a change. So as long as you have him on his feet, his footwork is fucking really good, as you expect for 145 pounds. These guys keep working. So I can't say it enough. Credit where credit's due. Will always forever be one of my favorite fighters to have watched. All these amazing pay-per-views. He's really been the man stepping and saving the day. He just got the belt back, and here he is kind of doing the same thing. We've waited 6 fucking weeks. The rest of the card did not impress me. We absolutely needed Volkanovski to come and step in and save another fucking day. So, you're my boy. You always will be. But this would be such an amazing fucking torch for you to pass, my bro. To a guy that I think really does have a huge following in his own regard and does the same things that you love to do. Stay active and go out there and have a knock. And I love that both of these guys are 2 gas pedal fighters. So not a upset of your picks, your bets on this one. I respect it 50-50. But anytime Diego's an underdog, we always like those. We like the finish props in this one. I know Volk's proven to go to the judges and control and stop the chaos. What adjustments were made? Diego going into a 4th or 5th round, I don't like that nearly as much. If it was blind and I had to listen that it's to the 4th round, like I'd be worried for Diego, because Volk makes great adjustments and will be a complete fighter the whole way through. Diego will start the fade. He's lost that steam. So Diego by finish rounds 1 through 3 could have some extra sauce that might be live, but I would just take Diego by finish or money line and not go one way or the other unless you're given at least like a 5 or 6 to 1 prop. Maybe I'd consider it. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion on that. Diego I'm imagining his method by finish is plus 350, 400. Diego Lopes by finish. Hope it's higher. And I'll go on the other side and I'll do the same for Volk, except I'll probably just do knockout and decision or just knockout. Yeah, we'll see. So anyways, guys, that's going to be my UFC 325 breakdown. Do some little bets in and out. We've had a good time just kind of kicking it, chilling, yip yapping, doing what we love here. But nonetheless, we're gonna keep posting these guys. Look forward to our lock of the week segment with Pro Schmo Bets. Big fan of his as well. Big friend of the channel. We got other collaborations out there. 10-7. Those guys are absolutely fucking phenomenal. Wizards in their own regard. They shoot ball. Can't wait to maybe link up with them. Of course, another fan, friend of the channel there. You got Dana Black. His content's always cracking, fucking everybody up. And his takes are valid. And I agree, and I'll actually align with a lot of his opinions on shit. So, anyways, y'all, I hope you guys have a great one. Again, bets we're going to recap is, Hooker and BSD not going 15 minutes. Diego Lopes by knockdown, plus 150 to score a knockdown in the fight. Think that could happen. Volk's tough. He can get hurt just like he did in the first fight and still recover. We know that's true. How many guys has Diego fucked up but not finished? It's happened more in his last upper level fights. I like that prop a lot at plus money. We'll go ahead and make a post later in the week if you want to check that content out. It'll be over on IG. I'll put up some of my props, but as always, we're gonna stream this fight card. Last week we enjoyed my birthday, had some friends over, had a fucking great ass time watching the whole card start to finish. Had some good food, good drinks, good smoke. We had a fucking blast watching those fights with Patty and Gaethje having that war really made the night. So was a fun time away from the setup here, but I also come to enjoy this with other people too, and you guys are always welcome. So look forward to the fight streams. If you want my fight companion, we'll be talking bets that are rolling and placing new bets, anything that's falling off, but I like some of the other plays. Live betting, as always, great way to make some money there. Basically take some of your big underdog bets now, and if the lines move during a fight, during an upset, you can bet on both sides at plus 300 or more prop, which is what I aim for. And I like to bet on both sides and just make a happy enough cash out where it didn't become this fighter wins, I lose. I'll make money regardless, as long as it's not a draw. We get refunded. So that's like one of my favorite things to do with live betting. But otherwise, you're going to hear me straight, punch by punch, kick for kick, takedown by takedown. I am so fucking glued to this shit as it unravels in front of me. And I have a lot of fun sharing that exciting moment with you guys. So please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite picks, bets, and what are some of your favorite underdogs on this card? Because we are in Australia, new bonus structure. A lot of these guys like to come out and knock. Australia's always had good electricity for, amazing finishes, historically. Let me know some of your favorite dogs or bets on the card. I'm interested. As always, we'll catch you later. Thanks for croaking and smoking with your boy, MMA Toad. Peace out.